My name is Hannah Marr, and this is CA2 for distributed games. I worked on this project with Andrew Disley, and this is my screencast. So I'm just going to boot up the game. And because of the way we've implemented the win-lose logic, the last player left alive in the game is the one who wins. But unfortunately, this means that if you play the game normally, it is actually impossible to play, and it will just say that player 1 has won. So instead, when we go to host, we spawn with 2 players in order for them to be able to show what in order for them to play properly. Both players can fire bullets. We have a losing animation, and player 2 has won. Now, you may have noticed that the frame rate is a little bit dodgy, and that is mainly because of the fact that I am running the capturing software at the same time, which is why I don't have any cover in. If we go back into world and uncomment some of the cover, it'll just show you what the actual game looks like when played. As in our last CA, the cover is all destructible. So, there we go. Oh, so in the same vein, the player is able to use their projectiles in order to destroy the cover. As you can see up in the upper right hand corner, I have single digit frames because of the amount of entities on screen, but also because of the capturing software I'm using. So which is why initially there was no cover there. So to go back into how we did everything, when connected with another computer running the same game, it will be a four-player deathmatch with 2 people controlling 2 players each. The host controls player 1 and 2, and then the joining player controls players 2 and 3. They are denoted by their own unique identifiers. In the world CPP, this is where we draw our enemies and cover. You may notice that that is still known as aircraft cover and aircraft cover 1 and 2. There's also instances where it goes as aircraft player, as you can see here. The reason we weren't able to change these was because of just an issue we were having when refactoring the files. We found that when we tried to rename the actual files and to game object, certain CPP files didn't recognize that the file name had been changed, and we weren't able to combat the error properly. So we decided just to leave it as aircraft, but have the entities in the data table as player, cover 1 and cover 2, so that they are still denoted properly. In terms of the multiplayer state, we have 4 winning conditions, each pushing to another method called right winner. So when, say, player 1 wins, it pushes the identifier 1 to right winner, and it requests the stack push for mission success 1, which simply says player 1 has won the game. And you can see here, this was what was written before me booting up the game just there. So the previous winner was player 1, and if I open up lastwinner.txt again, we now see that the latest winner was player 2. And you can see here in the state identifiers we have all the different mission successes. And here we have the mission successes and what they call in the event that somebody actually wins. In regards to other improvements made upon the game, we, as I mentioned previously, we have it so that when hosting, the player spawns in with 2 controllable icons, player 1 and player 2, or 3 and 4 as the case may be. They are controlled using WASD and the arrow keys, as well as being able to fire with space and F respectively. We also have re-implemented our multi-directional moving and firing, as well as our destructible cover. There is a little bit of an issue in terms of the bounding boxes. As you saw initially, all 4 players spawn in the very center, and there's nothing we can really do to combat that. So there's just a brief moment where everybody has to kind of get through it. There's also a slight issue when colliding with cover, whereas if you move forward or backwards, as the case may be, you're able to jump over it. But I like to think of this more as a unintentional feature rather than a bug. So I think that's everything. There will be a link to the GitLab in the appropriate folders and so on. And yeah, I think that's it. So my name is Hannah Marr, and I worked on this project with Andrew Disley. Thank you very much for watching.